Hey, it's Jesus Castillo from Ruby Guides, and in this video you're going to learn about the OS gem in Ruby, how to use it and why is it useful. You will also learn two Ruby gems tricks that can be very interesting and helpful. So let's do this. And by the way, I hope I'm recording this during this time where we have to physically separate ourselves, but I hope we can come together and this online community. And I hope all of you are doing well. Okay, so let's get into the code. We have the OS gem. What is this? Well, it's a gem that is used to get information about your environment, more specifically about what operating system you're running in, right? So because OS means operating system, okay? Basically, you can do things like OS Windows question mark, and the question mark, it just means it's part of the name, and it's a convention where we're asking a question. So we are expecting a yes or no, which in programming is true or false, right? So basically you can ask, is this operating system my program is running in Windows or not? Because you might, there are things that you can't do in Windows, like the fork method. You can't use it in Windows. Anti-gem allows you to check for that. You can also check for the CPU architecture, so 32 bits or 64 bits. You can also check if you're running with JRuby. Have another video in JRuby if you're interested in learning what that is and how can it benefit you if you want to try that out. Then you can also check where the binary, so VIN means binary, and this is where the file is for your Ruby interpreter. There are a few other things you can check if you're running in a Mac. So you can check also the memory, and this in bytes. So if you need megabytes, you will need to divide this by 1024 two times. This 2 times, and that will give you the megabytes. And you can also get this general report like this. So that might be helpful if you're building some kind of, probably not for a Rails, because if you're running Rails, you control the environment, right? You control what kind of server you're deploying your application to. But if you're building like a user level kind of tool, like maybe some kind of backup tool or some other kind of tool, then you don't control in which environment your application is going to run in, right? And in that case, you might want to have this capability, this possibility of checking what your operating system environment is. Okay, so that's what this gem is helpful for. And here I'm going to show you some examples and the two Ruby gems tricks that I mentioned in the beginning. Okay, you start it normally, gem install OS, but here's a little trick you can use. You can do -- no doc. So what does this do? Well, doc means in this case documentation. So what this means is no documentation. Why would you want to do this? Well, the main reason, well, two reasons actually. Reason number one is that it will install faster, right? So as you will see, it install very fast, and usually the longest time that it takes to install the gem is because of the documentation, right? So if you use this, and I think it's going to become the default, I read that somewhere, I can't confirm, but it will be a good idea to have this as default because it saves you space, so disk space. I also install the gems a lot faster. So I really like using no doc. It's not a problem because most of the time you will want to search the documentation online. So you will go to your browser and you go to the gem, and there it is, documentation. So it is Ruby gems, right? And there is a link to the documentation right there. And you click this and you will get the online documentation. It is easier to navigate because you have search. You can, in this case, this is a very simple gem, but if it was a more complicated gem, this panel right here on the left will have a lot of things, and you can search it, and you have the search box, and you can see an overview of all of the methods, right? So I really like this way of browsing the documentation rather than on the command line. If you are used to the command line, well, for documentation, then don't use this. Just use that. Okay, so we have the OS gem, and this should be very simple to use, as we can see in the README. We can do require OS, and we can see that we are clearly not running on Windows because this is a Linux machine, right? So you want to install the gem, and you want to try the different options you have in the README, and then you want to go to the documentation. Okay, so because a very simple gem, I don't have a lot more for you, but I want to give you another Ruby gems tip. So let's just quickly try the RSS. So RSS stands for resident set size. It's just basically the memory that your program is currently using. So that's in bytes. This would be kilobytes. And if you do that again, then you get megabytes, right? I think that's correct. Then let me show you the other Ruby gems trick, which you can get if you go to the gem that you want to know more about. Then you come here in the links section in the right? So look here, you have like these two columns. In this column where you can see the total downloads, you can also see these links. The link I click to get this page is the reverse dependencies. And what's this? Well, the dependencies is regular non-reverse dependencies is the other things that you need for this project to work. But reverse dependencies is the inverse of that, is the reverse of that, which means it's the projects that are using these gems. It's the other projects that are using these gems. And that can give you an idea who is using this gem, right? For example, you can see Google is using this gem for its Google Auth official gem. So you can see here. And that's what drives most of the downloads. In fact, okay. So that's what drives the most of the downloads, and we can also see this Neo4j, Neography, WebDriver, User Agent is also using the OS gem to find information about the operating system environment. Okay, so I wanted to show you that the gem, the reverse dependencies, and also the no-doc option, which I may make a separate video for those, so people that don't watch this video then can also get that information. Okay, so we're done here. Hope you've learned something new. Please click the like button for me so I know that you like this video and so more people can find it and benefit from it. If you want to learn more, watch more videos in the channel. You have I think over 100 or 200 now videos you can watch to learn Ruby and improve your Ruby skills. You can also subscribe to the channel so you can get more videos like this, so you don't miss out on new releases of videos. And finally, you can also visit my website, rubyguides.com, and in there you will find the newsletter and you will find my Ruby book. Okay, so thanks all for watching. I will see you in the next video.